Good evening. You're watching Ukraine Brief on TVP World. It has been 1,391 days since Russia began its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I'm Marie Caso, and here's the latest. We begin this evening with news from Berlin, where Ukrainian, American and European leaders headed peace negotiations to bring an end to Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine, with President Zelenskyy saying that he is ready to abandon Ukraine's NATO ambitions if sufficient security guarantees are provided. This latest round of peace talks began on Sunday with President Zelenskyy, joined by senior negotiator Rustem Umerov, arriving in Berlin and meeting with American negotiators Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, as well as German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. The negotiations centered around potential concessions needed to bring about an end to the war, including one demand where Russia insists that Ukraine withdraw its troops entirely from the Donbas region. The American side has also pushed for this, with an official familiar with the Sunday talks telling AFP that Witkoff and Kushner pushed Zelenskyy's team to surrender the parts of the Donbas region that Kyiv still controls. That same day, President Zelenskyy told reporters that Ukraine would be ready to abandon its ambitions of joining NATO on the condition that broad security guarantees, similar to those in NATO's Article 5, would be provided by the US and European allies. Steve Witkoff said that the nearly 5-hour-long talks on Sunday were highly productive, with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz also saying that the chances for a real peace process in Ukraine are closer than ever before. President Zelenskyy also added that he believes the United States will help find a compromise on territorial questions by acting as a mediator. Taking a look at the Russian perspective, the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov says that Ukraine's NATO membership remains a key issue, with Moscow awaiting a U.S. update following today's talks.
Naturally, this issue is one of the cornerstones, and of course it is subject to special discussion. And this is the sense of a negotiation process that, I repeat it once again, we do not want to conduct in megaphone style.
Moscow pushes sweeping demands upon Kyiv at the peace talks to cede territories the Kremlin cannot capture on the battlefield, while Ukraine has blown up a Russian submarine docked at the Novorossiysk naval base today with an underwater drone. According to Ukraine's State Security Service, underwater drones struck a Russian submarine in the Black Sea port of Novorossiysk, inflicting critical damage and effectively removing the vessel from service. Footage released from Ukrainian authorities showed the explosion and its flying debris. The submarine was equipped with launchers for caliber cruise missiles using in attacks against Ukraine. Officials estimate the submarine's value at about $400 million, adding that it had been relocated from occupied Crimea after avoiding earlier Ukrainian naval drone operations. In a separate strike, Ukraine's general staff says its forces hit a strategic energy facility deep inside of Russia. Social media footage shows explosions and a massive fire at the Astrakhan gas processing plant, a key supplier of sulfur for explosives in Russia's military industry. The facility sits near the border with Kazakhstan, roughly 700 kilometers from Ukraine. Russian strikes continue. Over the past day, Russia launched 153 drones across 3 regions of Ukraine, targeting civilian infrastructure, residential areas, energy facilities, and in an overnight attack, damaged a railway station in central Ukraine. Russian forces carried out an overnight strike on a railway station in the town of Pyatkaty in Ukraine's central Dnipropetrovsk region, damaging buildings near the station, according to Ukraine's state rail company. The company said there were no casualties among passengers or railway workers, as people were evacuated in time and no passenger trains were at the station during the strike. The attack partially damaged the station building, which was built in the 19th century, as well as several of its neighboring buildings. In the city of Kramatorsk in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, Russian forces shelled the city more than 10 times, hitting residential neighborhoods and infrastructure. No casualties were reported, though residents said the strikes shattered windows. In Ukraine's northern Sumy region, Russia continues attacks on communities near the border. On Sunday, a drone strike hit civilian infrastructure, triggering a large-scale fire in a two-story building. Authorities confirmed that no one was injured. However, while emergency crews were at the site, Russian forces continued to strike the same areas. Videos released by the emergency service shows rescuers taking cover as drones fly overhead. In the city of Zaporizhia, at least 10 people, including a child, were wounded in Russian airstrikes on Sunday. The attacks damaged residential buildings, a supermarket, and set cars on fire. Meanwhile, in the southern port city of Odessa, a major attack on the energy grid left more than 1 million households without electricity. And that's all for Ukraine Brief tonight. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more on TVP World and tvpworld.com. Good night.